betting on the brain?
Are you ready, Asha?
I am.
What goes on when you take a chance on gambling?
It's a dangerous game. It's the only addiction that you really can convince yourself you can get out of the hole with it.
With so many apps and so many ads, the chips seem stacked against us.
I don't think we need so much gambling ads.
So why are we still being enticed to go all in?
Doesn't it feel like it's inescapable?
No.
You can't afford to miss your marketplace. I'm about to undergo an MRI. It's not for any medical reasons. We're doing this in the name of science. Monitoring my brain activity during the highs and lows of gambling.
Essentially, you'll be playing multiple rounds of a gambling game.
We're getting unprecedented access to a study at the University of British Columbia.
And so you're looking at the brain response when I'm going through this.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
I'll be playing this simulated slots game
Okay.
inside the MRI chamber.
All right, are you ready, Asha?
I am.
Yeah, so come on in. You can stop by the chair to take your shoes off.
Sure.
Okay, Asha, I'm gonna start the 30-second scan.
Professor Luke Clark and his research team are analyzing what happens when I get a win and whether exciting sounds like this actually make a difference in how I play.
Unlucky there.
The research being done here is needed now more than ever.
The wins here are worth the same amount.
Experts are sounding the alarm that the gambling landscape in this country is changing quickly and dramatically. Since Canada legalized single-game sports betting,
Bet it or regret it. Womp womp.
gambling is everywhere. And at this sports bar,
I'm gonna go first period. Toronto Maple Leafs 1-0.
Okay.
So I'm gonna do that.
What's the money? What's the money?
I'm only gonna bet $10 right now
Okay.
because I know that throughout the game, I'm gonna do more betting.
it's never been easier to place a bet.
It sets a wager and done. Place your bets.
Good
Let's
luck.
go.
And how much are you betting?
I bet $20 in. It's hard not to be drawn to make a bet if you have the app.
Why?
Because it's right there. It's so easy. And you got the chance to win.
Oh, what's up? You watching the game?
Across Canada, online casinos and sports betting are legally available through provincially run sites.
Jackpot City is the home of all things casino.
But Ontario is the only province that allows private companies to operate and advertise.
She wins all of that cash.
Meaning you've likely seen ads like these on TV
Today's your chance to win.
or when scrolling social media. To learn more about this billion-dollar industry, we're heading to Brock University to meet Michael Narain, a professor of sport management who's researched online gambling,
Hey, nice to meet you.
Thanks so much for coming.
and a regular bettor himself.
What we've learned here in Ontario is that there is an appetite for gambling and sports gambling in particular.
And there's a lot of apps out there.
There is.
Do people just get one app?
No, typically, the average consumer will download a few apps. And so, if you're just locked into one system, you're not necessarily playing the field. It's a bit akin to the dating world. You're not just gonna be on one dating site, you're probably gonna be on a few.
Right.
It's a competitive market, and Professor Narain says gambling operators have many tactics to lure you in.
So if you see one of your favorite athletes, advertising for a particular sports book, you might be more allured by that. Or better yet, if you are signing up and you're getting a $1,000 promo, that's very alluring to a consumer.
Most sports books and casinos have promo offers for newbies. So we're testing them to see how we do.
So you're gonna go to the Score?
The Score.
And I'm gonna check out FanDuel.
We check out a few of the most popular sites. Signing up is pretty easy. We just need to upload our ID, show it's really us by taking a selfie.
And now I gotta put my credit card information in.
And of course, deposit some cash.
So this is the first bet offer.
At BetMGM, we try this first bet offer.
Should you lose your first bet, you'll receive your stake back in bonus bets up to $1,500 at Bet Settlement. Your bet is in. Thanks, Jamie. What's the marketing angle behind it, you think?
It's almost like an insurance play that if you miss your first bet, we'll give you a bonus of that denomination back. The challenge is it's not actually real money coming back to the customer, it's promo money.
A lot of the online casinos offer promos to match your first deposit, up to $3,000 in some cases.
Okay, $40 in my account. So that's the $20 I deposited plus the $20 that they gave me in bonus.
We try Bet365's promo, but then we get to the fine print.
I'm going through the terms and conditions, and it says I need to wager it 10 times before I can withdraw any of that.
Oh.
Most sites have similar terms and conditions. The promos come with wagering requirements. So you have to bet the value of the bonus a certain number of times before you can cash out your bonus money. On some sites, like Captain Cook's Casino, a $10 deposit means we have to wager $2,000.
So I can't get my money until I go through it 200 times.
Wow.
Okay, I'm gonna bet 40 cents.
It's really hard to hit the mark.
Okay, so I just got a message here. I'm done with my bonus funds. I've been betting the minimum the whole time, and I don't think I'm even close to hitting that 10 times wagering requirement.
Our money runs out well before we meet that threshold.
It doesn't surprise me because ultimately the operator wants to keep its money, not give out more money.
So essentially, it's just a way to get people to play more.
Yes.
Paul Burns is the CEO of the Canadian Gaming Association.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Paul?
Good to
Nice
meet
to meet you.
Representing some of the main operators like FanDuel and BetMGM.
Is that a way to sort of lure people in to play more, spend more?
The gaming industry offers bonuses and incentives just like any other business would offer a sale or a promotion. But no one is encouraging anybody, and anybody wants to bet above their means.
The other sites we try, Bet365 and Captain Cook's Casino, don't respond to our requests for comment. Back at UBC, the psychology of gambling addiction and the way games are designed with all those lights and sounds is what Professor Clark is studying.
They do create a sense of excitement. And in our past works, we see that the presence of those audiovisual cues actually biases people to make riskier choices.
We're going to find out what kind of effect those lights and sounds will have on me.
That's the big win.
In this simulated slot game, I have two choices. The safer one is go for less cash. It comes with a better chance at winning. Or I can take the riskier choice and go big, but my chances are slim to win.
Sometimes she's going for really high risk.
The research team is monitoring every choice I make.
She took the left there.
Okay.
And it paid off.
Big win.
She's doing it again. She's doing it again. Going for the 5. Unlucky.
You did very well.
Good.
After 1 hour and 2 rounds of gambling, my scan is over.
I'm done.
While the researchers analyze the data to see if I play risky or safe, we're meeting with someone who knows all too well the dark side of gambling.
What was it like when you would win?
Early on, it's really exciting. It's really fun. It gets desensitized pretty quick. Usually that hole gets so deep that no win's enough.
Experts actually call that chasing your losses.
Yeah.
Did that happen to you? Is
All the
that
time.
what you...
It happens to everybody. It's a dangerous game, and for people like me that have that addiction or somebody that's in a compulsive position, they can't recognize that and they can't stop.
It's been 5 years since Noah Weinberg's last bet. His recovery hasn't been easy.
With the current online market in Ontario, have you found yourself tested by it?
When it first came out, absolutely. I could recognize myself in it. I was able to sort of envision going down that road again, what it would look like. I didn't like the way the end of that road looks because I'd been there. It'd be a blatant lie to say it didn't trigger.
Gambling addiction counselors are warning that calls for help in Ontario are growing.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Deirdre Querney is one of them.
The longer it goes on, the worse it gets for people. So by the time they're calling me, they're in pretty deep trouble, and they're just desperate to make a change.
And you've seen a rise in calls.
I have, yeah.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, so in our second quarter, we've had more calls than the entire last year.
Wow. What do you think that's about?
Well, the landscape has changed. In the past, before the pandemic, when people called, it was really about in-person casino. More recently, especially in the last year, it's been online gambling. Just about everyone is calling us about that.
She says the demographic of callers is changing too.
I was shocked because this is such a switch. I've been doing this for 23 years, and it's for so long it's been a kind of a similar profile, right? Now all of a sudden we have something completely different. Often younger men, sports betting online, very different from what we had before.
It's been 3 weeks since my MRI.
Nice to see you again.
Hi, Asha. How's it going?
And Professor Clark has my results.
We've been crunching the data.
Their data shows that when I win and get those coins and sounds, I'm twice as likely to follow up with the riskier bet than when I didn't get those extra cues.
So it seems that I made riskier choices based on these sounds.
Yeah, that's quite a big change in your behavior as a function of those audio visuals.
They also find that in the seconds after I place my bet, there are spikes of activity in areas of my brain associated with reward and risky decision-making.
I mean, it gives you pause to think that I don't gamble that much, and still those cues really affected how I played the game.
I think that's true, and the cues have some sort of ingrained effects on everybody.
It's salacious and it's inundating.
When we come back, we count up just how much advertising they're dealing us.
It feels like it's inescapable.
Inescapable is exactly the right word.
It's enough to make you fold. This is your marketplace. Online gambling is on the rise and more accessible now than ever before. But are we really winning or losing when it comes to its impact? You can't miss all the ads.
Bet the NBA all season long.
From commercials
ProLine, not just another sports book.
to sponsored segments.
Time to check in on our FanDuel Same Game Parlay.
To billboards. Even scrolling through social media on your phone. So, just how much gambling advertising are we really seeing? To answer this, we're turning to researchers at the University of Bristol in the UK.
It is shocking.
Jamie Wheaton is a researcher who studies gambling advertising. Last fall, his team published a study revealing the massive number of gambling ads shown during the English Premier League opening weekend.
We asked you to look at gambling ads here in Canada. Why did you decide to take on the project?
We thought it would be really interesting to take a look at the prevalence of marketing in different sports in the different jurisdictions.
This test is the first of its kind.
So it's an advert.
No one has quantified gambling advertising in Canada on this scale.
They score!
Over a 5-day period, we picked 7 sports broadcasts in Ontario, 2 NBA games, 5 NHL games. They're watching every single shot for what they call gambling messages.
Bet Rivers.
Anything from a commercial to a logo.
We've got FanDuel up here.
If they see it, they log it. But for Noah, who's recovering from a gambling addiction, the ads are a difficult reality.
I guess almost 2 years ago now, when all the ads started coming out, I was just angry. I was really angry at first because.
Why?
Well, it just hits home. It's salacious and it's inundating, and if you even remotely like sports, you can't get away from it.
So just how inundating are they? During 7 sports broadcasts, researchers find 3,537 gambling messages.
It was just clear as we were watching those 7 games how bombarded we were by the sheer prevalence of gambling, brand logos and other references.
It feels like it's inescapable.
Inescapable is exactly the right word. Most of the logos you'll see appear either on the court surface or the rink surface, or again by the side of the playing surface itself.
That breaks down to nearly 3 a minute. FanDuel was the most prominent operator, accounting for 27%, with 979 in total.
Trent Jr.
As for the game with the most advertising, that would be when Raptors played the Bulls. 799 gambling messages in just over 3 hours. We take that stat to Raps fans.
That's a lot, honestly. Like,
For
I think a single game is a lot.
That's crazy. That's kind of crazy still. I don't think we need so much gambling ads.
Why does that concern you? What is shocking about it?
A lot of kids watch those games, you know?
That is a bit of a shocking stat.
Do you think there should be limits? Oh, did you see one?
Yeah.
See? Right there.
Yeah.
Wow. It's insane.
Does that concern you?
Yeah, I think a bit. Yeah, because it's kind of pushes it on people who haven't already started it.
And less than 3% have responsible gambling messaging like this.
There's very little messaging advising on the potential harms which can emerge from gambling. The messaging we found actually just encouraged people to take responsibility for their own gambling, assuming that they had full control. But actually, there's very little information about how products are designed to ensure that you continue gambling and can potentially be addictive.
Who needs a ball?
And get this, 10 of the ads in our study feature a celebrity or athlete. Something the regulator, the Alcohol and Gaming Commission of Ontario, promises to ban come February as a way to protect minors.
Do you think that'll make a difference?
It won't make a difference at all. It doesn't address the other much more prominent forms of advertising. It's likely that children watching the sports will not fully understand the risks associated with gambling. And we know we've got enough literature that tells us that exposure to gambling at an early age is more likely to lead to gambling harms from being experienced in the future.
Jamie says the best solution? Limit the amount of messaging we see altogether.
The existing standards are ineffective at regulating the current volume and also the current forms of advertising.
We reach out to the leagues and broadcasters. No official comment from the NBA or NHL. CBC says talk to Sportsnet. They control the advertising. Rogers Sports and Media, who owns Sportsnet, says they want viewers to enjoy sports betting responsibly and tell us they follow the regulations. Same for Bell Media, who owns TSN. They add that responsible gaming is a key element of their approach. And one stakeholder tells us the findings appear to be overstated and says counting each logo is not the right way to measure overexposure. The Alcohol and Gaming Commission of Ontario tells us that advertising has played a role in shifting gambling to regulated sites, and they have significant rules that ensure ad content is truthful and responsible. Want to bet what the gambling industry says about all this?
This does not concern you?
No, because it's done in a highly regulated way with lots of oversight.
That's coming up. This is your marketplace.
Think you've got good picks.
We're testing Ontario's online gambling market.
Bet your way with Betway.
Investigating just how much advertising we see during games.
Researchers looked at these 7 games. It was 3,537 online gambling ads.
So what does the industry have to say? We asked Paul Burns, CEO of the Canadian Gaming Association.
When you think of that number, doesn't it feel like it's inescapable?
No, because I look at a broadcast and see lots of other logos and advertising. So.
I just want your immediate reaction to that number. Does that not concern you at all?
No, I think that advertising has been quite reasonable in the way it's been appearing on this game. The broadcasters wouldn't be continuing to do it. The leagues wouldn't be continuing to do it if they knew that their audiences didn't like it.
So I want you to just take a look at this. We show him some of the logos from the Raps game. 799 ads were shown in this game alone. And as you can see, it's right there on the court, it's on the side of the basket, it's on the seats. What do you make of that?
It's part of branding and advertising, and part of what every company that's allowed to advertise and part of a game.
So that's okay then?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is a legal regulated industry that's there's high level of oversight.
For those who are problem gamblers, this is a trigger. For young people, they're being exposed to this when they're watching. So how do you respond to people who say, this is too much, it's excessive?
Well, it's for some people think it is, and some people don't think it is.
Does that 3% for you seem like enough in terms of sending out responsible gambling messages?
I think that there's always more we can do, and we will continue to do that, and we are. The gaming industry knows people have control issues with our products. We accept it, we know it, and we try to address it because we want a healthy relationship with the customer.
Not good enough for Noah, who's struggled with gambling addiction in the past. He wants to see more action, but until that happens, he has this advice.
I want people to know they have somewhere to go. I do a lot of this stuff hoping other people recognize that, you know, he looks like a pretty normal guy. And he had this problem, and it was pretty big. So maybe I'm not alone, or maybe I'm not different.